And then by the end of the month, actually, because I mastered the launching part as well and all the program, I launched another little bit of it. And at the end of the month, like in 1 month, in my very first month launching, I made $20,000.
Welcome to the show, Bibi.
Thank you. Hello, everybody.
Hi. So we have so many exciting things to talk about today. From the moment we met and you were like, I don't know, you were iffy about joining CCA, to like, Giulia, you are my life mentor. I'm coming to Bali. I'm coming to see you. Like, we have just been through so much, and I can't wait to dive into all of that today. So first, get started with sharing a little bit more about you. What is your business? And then we'll take it from there.
Yeah, so my name, first of all, thank you so much for having me here. So my name is Bibi and I am a midwife. I am from Italy, but I live in Australia. I've been living in Australia for 11 years now. So my life is here and I really love this country. I've got 3 beautiful kids. My husband is in the Air Force and I've just been living the life, I would say. I just unintentionally become an influencer in the, mamas and pregnant space a few years ago when my husband went away for an exercise. Like, he was away for about 7 months and that was COVID. I was by myself with my little one. And then I just started doing TikTok and helping everybody that was alone as well. So that's a bit of my story.
I love it. So while you were working in the hospital, you just started creating content on the side?
Okay, so I was alone at that time because my husband was in Dubai with my son, who was 1.5, and I was working shift work at the hospital about 5 to 4 days, depending, a week. And then, in my spare time, mainly at nighttime or when I was just free, I would create content on my Instagram and TikTok.
I love that. So take us through this little journey. You started creating content on Instagram, on TikTok, reaching all the mamas in Italy. Really, like, you guys have to check Bibi out because she posts really great content and you've built such a great community, which I think is honestly the hardest part. And you've really mastered that. So what inspired you to start seeking a business coach and when you first came across my page?
So I had already a business coach before I met you. So that was like a year prior to meeting you. But I don't think I was given really great advice and I burned out really quickly. So before I met you, I had a TikTok page of 300,000 followers, but because I was so burned out, I deleted it. So that page is actually gone. What happened is I just asked to my sister, Kenny, I said to her, I really want to have a business coach because I really want to make this work. This has been my project for when I was 18. I'm now 33, so it's like something that is being in my heart. And so she said to me, I said to her, but I want her to be a female. I don't want a male now. I want her to be a female. And so she sent me the Instagram of Laura. And that day, Laura just launched a mastermind and she tagged you. And so I came to see your profile and that's how I met you. And I just fell in love with all your content.
Oh my God, we have to tell them the story of how this all went down because guys, you listened to George on the podcast. You already know the whole vibe that he says customer journey. You can't ever control the customer journey. And Bibi is the prime example of that. So I love that you said that because what a coincidence, but not really at the same time that Laura had posted me. That's how you found me. And this is why we teach women how to use social media, because you get connected with the perfect people in the perfect, most divine timing. But I want you to share the story about when you were we had a conversation, you were interested in joining CCA and you were like, you know what, not right now. And then you took a road trip. Tell them this story because this is going to like blow people away.
Absolutely. So what happened is I reached out to you, of course, and you're like, so sweet. And let's just have a phone call. And I was a Zoom call. Yeah, sure. We have a Zoom call. And you just, you said to me all the right thing. You talk about the program, which like sounded so amazing. But just in that moment, I was like, I don't know, like I wasn't ready right there. And then what happened is I had to go to Melbourne. So I live in Newcastle. Newcastle, Melbourne is about 11 hours drive. But I had a flight to go and see Joe Dispenza, which is like one of my mentors as well. He's changed my life, literally. So what happened is they canceled my flight. So the only way for me to get there was actually to drive all night without sleep and then do like 13 hours with Joe. And I was like, well, you know what? Sometimes it's like the universe is asking you, like, how bad do you want it? I mean, like, if I'm going to put like 10 obstacles in front of you, like, are you going to show me that you really want it? And that was probably like the first time in my life that I was like, nothing is really going to stop me this time. So I jumped on a car and I was like, because when we did the phone call, I actually bought some of your courses. And so I started listening to them, and then I started looking at your profile and you had a podcast. And so I was like, well, what else can I do while I'm driving? Let me just listen to the podcast, because the podcast just keep going, And so I listened to you all the way to Melbourne, all the way back. So 22 hours, you were in my head. And after 22 hours, I texted you and I said, I am ready.
Yes. That is like the coolest story. And I've actually shared this like a few times because I just find that to be so inspiring, where it's like, this is the beauty of media, and your clients feel the same way about you, right? You have so much content out there that you can connect with people on so many different levels. And this is why I love doing the podcast, because you get to go so deep. Like, we're in somebody's ear right now. That is like the most intimate way you can get with somebody in the form of content. So I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. So kind of just to share with you guys a little bit more, Bibi decides to join CCA, and now the story just gets 10 times better. Because I remember when you first came to me, right, we got on a call, you're like, I'm ready, let's do the thing, awesome. And you're like, by the way, I'm quitting my job, I'm done, I'm going all in on this business. So can you share with everybody listening how that felt and what really inspired you to take that leap?
So after the 22 hours, I said to myself, I just drove all these hours because I just wanted something. And I said, imagine if I put myself all in, like into this project, what else could I do? And I've listened also to all your money mindset, all of that, and I was just like, I'm done. Like, I really want to change my life. And that's when I said to myself, I am going to change my mind. And I think you said something to me like, I think I told you something like the first call, and you said something to me like, well, you don't have to do it for the other people. You have to do it for yourself. You said something like that to me. And I was like, oh, okay. And then that just like stuck into my mind. And I was like, that is true. Like, I don't have to show anybody that I am the best, because I am the best, So like, they just have to see that I'm the best, and whatever I'm doing it for me and for my family. And so that's when I was like, well, I mean, like, who do I want to be? Who do I want to be? I asked that to myself, and I was like, I don't want to work anymore at the hospital. That does not serve me. I want to serve women on a bigger scale. And so I quit. That's it. And before launching my business, because I quit on the 28th of April, and I launched my business on the 3rd of May.
And this is such an amazing story, because this is what I call an inspired leap. And I'm looking at the clock. It's 1:11 right now. as I'm saying this. So it's so magical. But this is what an inspired leap is. It's scary to your mind, but exciting to your soul, right? And you had that moment where you're like, I just drove 22 hours to make this event that I easily could have canceled. I could have let all these things stand in my way, but I showed up and I went and I showed up as the person I want to be. And now that experience transformed into your business. And you're like, you know what? I'm sick of my own shit. I'm ready to do something different, because if I want to see a different result in my life, I have to take different actions. And we have to get to that point where we need to be honest, look in the mirror, like you said, and be like, I am ready for something different. I am ready for something new. So how did it feel taking that leap?
It just feels amazing. Like, I think what made the difference is that before I was always like, I want to be that person. I want to be that person. What can I do to be that person? Why now? You look at me and I walk like the billionaire Chanel midwife around the place, So I am that person, I am that person that is making a huge impact. So that changed. Like, I am such a different person, really. And as I said to you, even the other day, like, if you have met me like 2 months ago, like, I only wore pajamas, but now I show up like a CEO, like a real CEO. You won't see me in my pajama unless I'm about to sleep.
I love that. And it's so much about the identity shifting. So now let's transition a little bit into the juicy stuff. Everyone wants to know, what's the business? What did you launch? How did it happen? So let's kind of walk them through how this went. So you quit your job, you start CCA. You're like, I'm going all in. We work together on a launch plan. You go through the course. One thing I mean, there's so many things I have to celebrate you for, but the number one thing is you're like, Giulia, I did this course step by step, because I know a lot of the CCA women are so inspired by you, and they'll reach out to you and be like, Bibi, like, what's the secret? And you're like, it's all right there. Just follow the course. Just do the things Giulia tells you to do, and you will succeed. And this is the hardest part, is not letting any distractions stand in your way and doing the thing you're told to do. So you mastered that and you crushed it. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about the launch and how it resulted based on following the course?
Absolutely. So first of all, I have to say that the really good advice that you gave me was, like, the question you asked me was, where is your heart? A lot of time we do things because we like follow other people, follow what this one is doing, and then we don't follow where actually our heart is. And you asked me, where is your heart? What do you want? And I said to you, I just want women to have a beautiful experience, to have the birth of the dream, to be able to breastfeed their babies, and just have a beautiful postpartum experience. And then you said to me, well, that's going to be your program. And I was like, oh, really? And that was it. Like, that, literally, that was the program. That is the same exact word that I say to you that I'm saying to everybody. If you ask me, what is your program? My program is just letting you have the birth you want. That's it. Being able to breastfeed the way you want. So that's the program. So I did the launch. I follow all the CCA step by one, from step one all the way through. And as you said, sometimes, some of the girls, they reach to me, and all I can say to them is just go into the app and follow the program, because there is nothing else that I can tell you that you have said, because like, you're just such a great mentor, So I follow the program from step one, what I had to do. And I started from the email, from the, just like the way I wanted the program to be. Like, even like one day I was just like, Giulia, what am I going to say like during the free event? And you're just like, hey, here's my free event. Have a look. And I was like, oh, okay, sure. And I just follow the blueprint, really. I just followed it. And it was just, of course, it was my own, but I follow all the things that you said. And that is how it went. And so I launched, and I launched in the 3rd of May. Yeah. And after like the first day I made $8,000 straight away. Yeah. And that was so good. And then by the end of the month, actually, because I mastered the launching part as well and all the program, I launched another little bit of it. And at the end of the month, like in 1 month, in my very first month launching, I made $20,000.
I wish I could scream into the microphone, but I would hurt people's ears. So this is just such a beautiful story. And I am so proud of you, because if you really zoom out, and this is something we've been talking about a lot, zooming out, looking how fast you quantum leaped, you shifted. You're like, Giulia, 22-hour drive, quit my job, I'm going all in, $8,000, $20K month, and now we're here. Like, this is in the matter of 3 months. That is insane, Bibi.
Not even, because we started on the 1st of May.
Yeah, so 2 months.
6 weeks. It's 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
So.
Bibi, this is so amazing. So what I want you to share is, how does it feel? Like, how does this success feel in your body? Really, take up all the space, step into your power, tell everyone how it feels to really overcome and be in this position now that you 100 million% earned.
It feels amazing. Like, I feel myself, sometimes, I don't know if any of you is familiar with the human design, but I'm a reflector, which is 1% of the population, which means when I walk around, I always feel different. I've always felt different. I've always felt like I'm just not doing the right thing, because at school, that is what they teach you, they just teach you to be the same as other people. And that's what I've been trying to do my whole life, being very unhappy. And then now, because I've stepped into my true power, into my true self, I'm like that 1%, I'm that 1% that, people want to actually follow. I am a leader. Honestly, I am something different, and I am so happy. And, maybe last year I was a bit scared, or I didn't want other people to think that I was arrogant or anything. But the reality is, I'm not arrogant. I'm just real, and this is where I am. And I know how much I can give to people and to women, and it just feels so good. Like, I don't know, but even it's something silly, but even in my private life, I'm just so happy. Like, every weekend I get to do things with my kids, and all the mamas out there, they do know how busy can be with the kids, and just having that weekend where I just don't think about anything. I have my weekend, and then Monday I'm back working, so I have my hours. I do what I want to do, and I do not do what I don't want to do, to be honest. But I think the main thing that the program actually taught me, is to, as you always say, there is this masculine and this feminine energy, and I am so feminine, I'm so creative, that I get lost into the 1,000 things. But the program, it's so good because it's made for female entrepreneur that they don't have that masculine structure, but it's made in a way that as a woman, I can follow it, often men, they make these courses that they are very technical. Okay.
Yes.
So,
that's the word we'll use here.
They're so technical, and for me, my brain goes 1,000 miles, an hour, and I'm just looking at it and I'm like, I just can't do this. I just can't, But your program was so, how do you call it? The femmepreneur, you call it something like that?
Yeah, fempreneur.
Fempreneur. Oh my gosh, I just love that term. But it was so good. It's just made. It's made for people that like creating, and that they need a structure, because really to make things work and just happens the way they have to work, there is a structure that is needed. And as I said, sometimes they ask me, what is the secret? It's no secret. I just follow your program. That's it.
This is so good. And it's sounds so simple. And this is something I've been talking a lot about lately too, where I'm like, guys, it's really this simple. But I think, especially as women, when we see something as easy, we're like, no, this can't be true. It can't be that easy. But it really is when you decide that's how you want it. So you made the decision. You're like, I'm ready. I'm ready to go all in. I want it to be easy. And I think one of the most fulfilling parts that I've loved about working with you is seeing how happy you are in your life. Like truly, truly happy. Like I watch your Instagram stories and I'm practicing my Italian because your content's in Italian. And I just see, and you know, sometimes I do press the translate button because I'm like, I got like 50% of that. But I do see you just like, I remember so clear, you were at the zoo with your family and you're like, this is my dream life. I'm with my family. My business is running behind the scenes. I can be with my kids, with my hubby, and just have freedom. And that's the freedom. It's a feeling.
Exactly. Because in the end, you know, especially for us women and moms, you know, that is what we work for. We work to have that freedom and to be able to stay with our kids and watch our kids growing, you know. And sometimes people think, you know, you have a business and then that means you don't have any more time. But the reality is it really depends the way you run the business, you know. And I just look at you so much, you know, and I try just unfollow all the things that you say. And as you like, you know, I've had my moments where I was just like, I know I can't do this anymore. But it was so good to have you as a mentor because you always put me through like in the right direction, you know, like, because the thing is like we are our sabotaging person, you know, like, so I self-sabotage myself multiple times, lots of times, you know, but this is the time where when I see that I'm about to sabotage myself, well, I text you first.
Good.
And then you put me through the right way, you know. But I also am starting to learn when I start sabotaging myself a little bit, you know. And I just go like, okay, what can we do now to make this better, okay? Why this is happening. And a lot of time, as you said, and this, you know, like I've learned so much by you. You don't even know how much you've changed my life. You're like, I think like you're an angel that God just like gave it to me. It's like, hey, he's your angel because you've been bragging so much for the last year, you know? But what I've learned is that a lot of time when we self-sabotage ourselves or some of these negative thoughts, they actually come into our head, there is a learning. It means we have to learn, you know, it's like, you know how they say you get an upgrade, you have to upgrade yourself, okay? So it just means like, you know, for example, now I know I have to upgrade myself, you know, okay, I'm at this point of my business, okay, what can we do to make things better? Because of course, you know, I'm still new, so things sometimes are still a little bit messy, okay? But the thing is, I am the CEO, and so I've only been a midwife for my whole life, worked for the system for my whole life, went to uni, did all the right thing, you know? And now I'm doing something that is completely different, which means I have to upgrade myself, which means that also I will get a lot of negative thoughts and self-sabotaging because I'm thinking, I can't do this. No, you can do this because Giulia's taught you how.
That is so powerful, Bibi. Thank you so much for sharing. And I think the true power in mentorship is really being able to walk yourself through those moments. I don't know if you realize, but even just walking yourself through that, you're like, okay, I have the self-sabotaging thought. Let me use my resources. I have Giulia. I have the group. I have the videos, right? I have the community. I have myself. I can just look in the mirror and I can walk myself through this. And this is the power of long-term mentorship, really building a relationship with a coach and a mentor, because it's so much more than just, I want to hit this goal. Like, yeah, that's really cool. And you think you're signing up for that, but you're signing up to change your life. You're signing up to up level in a way that can never even be explained in the beginning. It can only be felt by the end.
Exactly. And as I said, you know, like my goal was to make 10K a month, you know, and I doubled that.
In 6
and now
weeks.
I'm like, in 6 weeks. in 6 weeks, even more than that now,
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so what is next? And next is to scale the business, and do better every day, and follow you, of course, follow everything you say. I mean, anytime you make a changes, or you do a PDF, or there is something, or a video, or a resource, I'm like, slow down, explain. Okay. I'm following you.
That's what happened in the call today. I'm like spitting rapid fire. I'm like, yes, we're doing this. You're like, whoa, back it up, slow down. And I'm like, whoo, okay, we got to take a deep breath here. I get so excited. But with all of this being said, and really seeing where you are now, right, mid-June, from where you were May 1, my question to you is, if you could go back and tell yourself in that first moment, when I presented the offer, I told you about the program, you knew that I had a CCA program, what would you say to yourself knowing what you know now?
So I would say to myself, because, that day I was like, I just can't right now, and I would say to myself, don't worry, I got you, But it was good that I said no, because I didn't know you enough, I think, and if you know me a little bit, you know that I really don't trust anybody, So that's just the way I am. And having that 22 hours, it just like everything just fell into place. Because if I hadn't taken the flight, I would have not listened to you for 22 hours, I would have maybe listened. I would never listen to you because on the plane, the phone was not working. You know what I mean? But everything happened in the way that it was supposed to be. The angel said, you can't go on the flight. You have to go with the car and you have to listen to this woman, because you know what? The thing is, the angel can put things in front of you once or twice. And then the third time you're like, well, if you didn't see it, you're bad. So we live surrounded by sign, So the first time was the tag of Laura. The second time was when I messaged you. The third time was when we talked to each other. The fourth time you messaged me because I was saying was going to Joe Dispenza. The fifth time was the podcast. So it's like, just do it. So I did follow the sign.
I'm so proud of you, and I'm so happy. And you know what? I think it just takes our own reflection to see that change, because the way that I see it is this. Of course, I feel like, yes, like you went through the program and it was everything. But the way that I really see it is that I was such a small part in this success. And I really mean that, because you always had these answers within you, and I just showed you the way home. I don't have a magic crystal ball. I don't have a magic wand. Really, it's about opening your heart and showing you what you are capable of. And that's the secret.
Yeah, it's true. You are the amplifier.
That's the word. I love that. So I also want to take a little bit of time to just highlight you and the kind of work that you do as a midwife, and how you were actually able to translate your expertise from working in the hospital to now having and building an online education company. So can you tell everybody listening, because a lot of people that listen are working a job, they don't maybe love it, but they may be passionate about the topic or the thing that they do. They just don't love that there's no freedom and working for somebody else. So how did you get the idea of doing what you did, what you were passionate about, to turning that into your own business?
So I'll try not to be too long. But the reality is that I had home births myself. So I had my son at home by myself, and I had my twins at home by myself. And everybody always asked me, like, were you just lucky? And I thought to myself, were I? I mean, like, the first time, maybe. But the second time, I don't think so. So I just thought to myself, what was the difference between me and between the thousands of women that I see out there, that they go in, they have an induction, they have a traumatized birth, and here we go, all the cascade of events, And the difference was just the information. They just do not have the right information. And so I was like, all right, so how can I put what is in my head into something that is digital? And that's where I start recording. And there's, I don't know how many TikToks and videos and reels. And everything, and then I made like a little bit of a more structured course. But really, like, the course, there's not much in the course, but it's just being able to see me one-to-one and have all your question answered. Because what happened is, the reality is that the hospital is a business. And because it's a business, they really do not have time for all your questions, And so, you go in, it's 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then you're out. And everybody is a number. And when you go into the hospital, you're put on a watch, So it's like, you say that you birth by this time, or you're just going to go for a Caesar. Like, they don't really care as much. And this is just the reality of it, like, I've been in that system. So what I've realized is that at the end of the day, whether I am there during the birth or whether I'm not there, it doesn't matter. What it matters is the work that women do during the pregnancy prior to go into labor, And in saying that, like, we also just had our first baby in the academy. And after all my teaching, and look, she had a so traumatized birth and she had a Caesar the first time, And after all my teaching, when I said to her, you will have your beautiful birth. I mean, like, I've taught you all the things that you need to know to birth, and she did not believe me as much, but she had a 2-hour labor, and oopsie, the baby just came out of her thing at home. She didn't even make it to the hospital.
Oh, she was planning to go to the hospital?
Well, after, like, laboring at home, but then going to the hospital,
Sure.
But it was so quick that she didn't make it. Wow. It just happened. And she said to me, like, I just can't believe it. Like, you were right. My body can birth.
Yeah.
And so the idea came just from me, from my experience, from thinking about what's the difference between, me and the other people, the knowledge, the information, that is not out there. It's really not out there. So this is what I'm doing different, I just give you the information the way it is, because nobody is owning me. Nobody is owning my information. So I'll tell you the way it is. They can tell you it's different, but I'll tell you, no, actually it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And, to answer your question, like, with any job, really, you can transfer it into the online system. Because what we've learned, in the last years is that you don't have to be there, and information is power. If you do know something, you can easily teach it.
Yes. Yes. And it's like your own life experience. This is what we teach you, right? How to turn your story and your experience into a successful online business, which is exactly what you did. And I remember when you messaged me and you're like, Giulia, like, I cried. We had the first birth. This was so fulfilling. This was so magical. And I'm like, yes, like, let's keep impacting, because everybody inside of CCA has that same mission to impact. Everyone wants to impact on a greater scale. Many people are in the online education space wanting to have a greater impact. And I really hope that anyone listening is really listening to what you said deeply, because I bet everybody has some sort of experience like you had with your own personal home births that other people have in their life that they could translate to a skill. Like, even me in my business, I was like, yeah, like, I get social media, but everyone knows how to do social media. Everyone has an Instagram account, but people were starting to line up. Giulia, how do you grow your followers? How do you actually make money using Instagram? How do you do this? And I'm like, everyone knows that. And they're like, no, we want to learn from you. And this is the power when it comes so natural to you, is when you second guess yourself. And the best of the best people, the real true experts, are the ones who doubt, are the ones who say, am I good enough? Do I know enough? And that's how you know you really are the best.
Exactly. And I want to add also that it's true, some things that we can do, anybody can do it, but there is something that is unique, and is our personality. And people will come to you because is you. Like, sometimes it really does not matter what you're saying. They like you, they align with you, and they're like, fine, what do I need to do? And they're just ready.
I love that. Bibi, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you for sharing your story. Do you have any final thoughts, anything you want to share with the people listening?
Well, I can only say that if you haven't joined CCA, join CCA, because I'm like not leaving. I'm doing a membership for life and I'm gonna be there forever. Okay. So I'll see you, everybody. I'll just see you inside of CCA. And if you do join after this podcast, just please come and say hi, because I'm always there. Giulia knows I'm always there.
Okay. Bibi, you already know that any pregnant women I know, I'm sending them your way. Like, I think the grand master plan is getting Bibi to make a second page in English so that she can help all of our CCA women, all of our we have some mamas in the group. Like, I'm telling you, this is going to go so bigger than we can't even like make a plan for it, because God has a much better plan than we have of how big this is going to go. So I love having you inside the program. You have me for life. I got you for life. And guys, I swear I'm not paying her to say this. She's really here. Sometimes people are like, okay, Giulia, was this scripted? No. This is the real deal.
And watch us, because in November, I am going to Bali for 1 month with my family and I'm coming to see you.
I love it. Bibi, thank you so much. If you guys haven't already, check out Bibi in the show notes. Send her a DM if you have any questions regarding her content. You want to get in touch with her. She also speaks English, so she can help our English-speaking listeners. So thank you so much, and I appreciate you, and I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Bye.